Today we continue on Thermaltake products, and as you remember last time we did the Series 300 TGA RGB case in white. Now in that build I used this liquid cooler right here. This is Thermaltake's TOUGHLIQUID Ultra 360 with a 2.5-inch LCD screen that is customizable. And the best thing about it, you don't have to wait a long period of time to get the screen applied. And that's really cool because usually on some manufacturers, as I've heard, it tends to happen, or it tends to happen. So that's a different story for a different topic if we get to that situation, but just wanted to let you know right on front, with this one it doesn't happen. So what's it all about? What do we have right here? This is a more sort of a performance version, especially with the fan, so we don't have RGB, but we do have quite nice pump block top with 2.5-inch LCD, as already stated now. So we have three 120mm fans, which are 120 x 120 x 25, going with the speeds from 500 to 2500 RPMs, 4-pin PWM. The maximum noise level is 28.1 decibels. Maximum airflow is 72.69 with one fan, and maximum air pressure is 3.78 millimeters H2O. Now when we take into consideration the fans as a single unit, 72.69 is actually lower than some fans we covered, and that's even by 7.31 CFM lower. So it's going to be quite interesting to see some things, but let's go with the radiator. 395 x 120 x 27 millimeters of thickness. So this brings us to the point that we are at 52 millimeters of thickness when we combine the radiator and the fans. Just so you know, guys, when you place the radiator and the fans inside your build, or if you plan to do so, what space you need to do that. On top, on front, it's all up to you, but regardless of that, you do need to take that into consideration. Now we have aluminum radiator and the tubes are rubber. We have the length of the tubes 400 millimeters, and then we go to the water block. We have bottom copper material. The speed of the pump is 3200 RPMs. The resolution for the display is 480 x 480 dots. The cool thing is that it comes with some sort of a presets. And today we're not going to go into the thermals because you can check the thermals in that video that I mentioned, so Series 300 TGA RGB. We're going to go more into the functionality of the screen and how it actually looks. So when you install their software, what you get is quite solid design. When we're talking about the application, you have a possibility to basically control everything that is connected through their controllers, and of course everything that is plugged in into USB 2.0 regarding the Thermaltake product. So it recognizes the fans that are inside the build, it recognizes the RAMs, and it recognizes the LCD screen on the pump block top. So when you boot up your PC, it shows the thermals of the liquid, because at that point it's the only thing that it can actually show. So it shows the thermals of the liquid. Now when at some point it boots up and the application starts, it loads up the preset of the LCD screen that you placed and that you want it to be. In those terms, we have loads of presets that are already applied, that are already inside the program, inside the application, but you can also go to their website and download some presets that were done by some modders or that they designed, pictures or GIFs. It's all up to you to decide which one suits you best. But the cool thing is that if you decide to go with certain pictures or certain GIFs, you can still manage to use the application to show you either the thermals, the load on the CPU thermals, or the load on the GPU, RAMs, and all the other information as you can see in this software. Now there's also a possibility to use multiple indications, like you want to have CPU temperature and CPU load, GPU temperature and GPU load. You can tick those four, and eventually in some sort of intervals they will change during the process of showing individual stuff. You can place your pictures, as already stated. It's only important. Basically what I did is I went to their website and I used a smaller picture, like I think it was 1600 times 1200 or something like that. I can't remember. And even though it's 4080 times 4080, it actually went to that part that it almost didn't cover the whole screen. So I almost had like edges with black lines. In terms of, it didn't fulfill more than it should. So what I suggest, going minimum with full HD, so 1920 times 1080 when we're talking about the resolution of the picture or anything similar to that. And then you can place it nicely on the pump block top, which will definitely give you a possibility to adjust the picture or the part of the picture that you want to place here. Ideal would be to have a square one, right? Because then it will fit without a problem. When we're talking about GIFs, basically anything that you find online and that you can download can be uploaded to the software and placed here. When we're talking about, as I already mentioned, when we're talking about GIFs and the pictures, you can place anything that you wish, as you can see from the close-ups. So it's all up to you to decide what's it going to be on top of your AIO. Now, the cool thing about the fans on each corner on both sides, they have rubber grommets, so that is good for prevention of additional vibration and additional noise that will prevent from that. And that's it when we're talking about that. Now, you can customize if you want, if you can connect everything to the internet and I don't know, place the weather forecast or something like that, a clock design if you wish to go that. But with their, I think, stock or default visuals for the pump, you can actually customize individual colors. So, I don't know, the outer ring, the inner color, the numbers, the letters. It's quite cool. When you take that into consideration, that customizability on this AIO is really outstanding. So again, I'll repeat myself for the performance. If you wish to check them out with this processor and this GPU, this is 7600X and this is RTX 4070 Ti, even the GPU doesn't really have to do anything with the AIO. The AIO is cooling the 7600X in this scenario. So check out the series 300 TG ARGB, and that's all there is to it. Talking about the placement of the AIO on the AMD platform, since it's an AMD here, it's quite straightforward. You use the original retention brackets from the AM5, well, from the motherboard that comes with the AM4 or AM5 motherboard, and just attach with 4 screws those brackets that go on the pump and lock the bottom part of that standoff to the plastic retention brackets on the motherboard and tie up the screws to get perfect fixture. That's all there is to it. Additionally to that, you do need to connect the micro USB to your USB 2.0 on the motherboard, which will give you an option to control the AIO perfectly. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's quite simple, really straightforward. There's no additional fuss when we're talking about the installation process, because it's mostly regular and straightforward as per any other AIO. And when we're talking about controlling, you just need to download their software to be able to do that. As you can see, I have the swap fan AX14 right here and 2 on top, which are also visible in the software, which can be adjusted as you wish and as you desire. Currently, I have to log in into Windows, so the Thermaltake application starts, and then it starts to changing and goes into, the fans go into white and the LCD goes into whatever I set. I can't even remember what I did, but you have the close-ups, you can check everything there. And that'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. It wasn't an actual review when we do benchmarks, because as I stated, you have that in another video. This was more like giving you insights about the LCD screen, how to mount everything, which is quite straightforward. And that'll be all for today. So in all terms, I'll place the links in the description, because I'll place the links for all Thermaltake products that are here inside this build, and the case as well, and the power supply and the tough RAM. And before you go and click those links, if you liked it, if you really want to see some future content, or you just want to head back and check out the past videos, don't forget to subscribe, or even click the like button. Eventually ring the notification bell, which would mean a lot to me. So thanks, see you next time, guys. Bye bye.